scariest thing about being is not my biological clock. It's that the older that I get, the more I become capable of making my life great. And you might be like, what's the problem with that? Well, my reproductive system inching closer and closer to geriatric status is not exactly thrilling because I would like kids and ideally they would have a father. But the older I get, the harder it is to find someone because my options are decreasing and I keep providing myself with a better and better life, which means someone has to compete with that. And that scares the hell out of me because despite the Vogue article, I do want a boyfriend, but I just matched with a 33-year-old man who still lives at home with his mom, and I'm not really sure what to do with that. Dating pool is so bad that my initial thought was, oh, maybe he has a really good reason. I gotta be open-minded. What the hell am I talking about? I'm sitting in my clean and peaceful apartment. I just made short ribs for dinner and I'm about to start my third book of the week. I don't know what his reason could be, but I can't imagine it's good enough to compete with this. But it doesn't even matter because after finding out what his living situation is, which I didn't even press further on as to not embarrass him, he texted me and said he's not really sure if he's in a place for a relationship right now, which I would have to agree. So yeah, that's my weekly dating update. I can't really concern myself with my biological clock at the moment when the options of who to do the whole biology thing with are so bleak.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but you're over the age of 30. Your dating options? Yeah, that dude who lives with his mom is probably the best you're going to get. And you'd know this if you actually got to know him. Rampant unemployment and economic hamstringing notwithstanding, he could have a legitimate reason for doing that. His mother could have chronic health problems and needs to be taken care of. Maybe he's running a business and his mother is supporting him by giving him a place to stay while he builds himself up. But you didn't know that because you immediately heard that he was living at home and assumed he was a loser. And I don't know if you know this, but men aren't exactly keen on dating a woman who's in her 30s and whose only accolades to her name are reading books and having her own overpriced apartment and acting like that gives her the excuse to feel like she's better than everyone around her. And from the looks of it, you can't even get a guy like that because he realized you weren't even worth the trouble of throwing on a clean pair of pants to meet you for a cup of coffee. So you really don't need to worry about that pesky biological clock, sister, because much like the rest of us, that thing gave up hope on you decades ago.
I quit. I quit.
Okay, reasons why women should not live the same way that men do. Women have 2 internal timekeepers and men only have 1. While we both follow the 24-hour circadian rhythm as dictated by the sun, women also follow a 28 to 32-day cycle as dictated by the moon. We call this our menstrual cycles. A man's testosterone rises and falls with the sun, peaking in the morning and dropping lowest in the afternoon, staying relatively the same day in and day out. Whereas a woman's hormones are much more complex, waxing and waning over the course of a month alongside the moon. Women only feel and function their best when they're able to live in tune with their solar and lunar cycles. However, much of society is only based around the solar cycle as aligned to a male's testosterone. Additionally, most health and medical research excludes a woman's menstrual cycle altogether.
I don't think any of that's true.
Woman, I mean this from the very depths of the soles of my really awesome boots. You really need to check your period privilege at the door. I mean, you can't use that as an excuse for oppression. First, it was just that time of the month where you spent a week complaining about feeling cramped and bloated. But now you're saying that your period lasts over 35 freaking days and society somehow needs to cater to that. Now, I know you failed first grade math, but even you should know that a month is, at maximum, 31 days. So you're trying to imply that society needs to somehow cater to your every whim because you menstruate. Well, that's not gonna work for us, darling. Women have been dealing with their periods for literally thousands of years, and yours is the first generation to think that you deserve extra special treatment simply because of it. And we don't need medical conspiracies to cover that up. And that's because when you're a grown-up, you just have to accept that life is unfair and nobody really gives a crap about your period. It's your reproductive organ, so it's your problem. And you can't blame your hormones every time you don't get your way on something. If that excuse didn't work back when women were actually worth a damn, it sure as hell ain't gonna work now.
Women of reproductive age were left out of clinical research until the early 1970s because researchers deemed a woman's cycle to have too many variables to factor in. Therefore, most medical research can only be deemed safe for males and postmenopausal women. Take fasting, for example. Because a woman's cortisol and metabolism rise in the second half of her cycle, if she were to fast all month long, she would be ignoring her body's need for 20% more calories in her luteal phase. Additionally, if she were to exercise the same all month long, she would further spike her cortisol, leading to hormone imbalances and chronic fatigue. It is not empowering to push a woman to live within a system not built for her cyclical body. It is empowering to create a system that fosters both the masculine and the feminine, a system that honors both the solar and the lunar cycles.
Well, I'm sorry, Wendy, but I just don't trust anything that bleeds for 5 days and doesn't die.
So if I'm understanding your gibberish correctly, you're saying that society needs to empower you by embracing your period? Woman, no, that's not going to work for us, especially when you've hyperextended that period to be literally longer than the span of a month. It's literally impossible by simple temporal standards. I mean, we're pretty much one entitled rant away from a modern woman extending their periods to be an entire year with that 3-day time frame when you're actually pleasant to be around. And if that's how you want to live your life, then have at it. It's your life to waste. But you're not getting any free snack gigs out of the deal. Now, I'm not a science doctor or anything like that, but unlike you, I actually possess common sense. And common sense dictates that if you fast for an entire month, the human body, regardless of the genderisms, isn't going to get enough caloric intake in order to function properly. Now, I get it. You want excuses to snack and eat the foods that you crave without society judging you for it. But here's the thing. If you want to keep a certain figure, then you're going to have to eat within your means. And medical science doesn't need to include you and your kind to prove that.
It's science.
If he is not giving you 110%, someone else will. Someone else will. There are billions of men. I have said this over and over. If he's not giving you what you deserve, go find someone that will, because someone else will. I freaking promise. Ditch this man, be single, be alone, grow yourself, glow up, heal, move the freak on, take some time alone. You will heal, you will move on, you will be fine, and you will find the love of your life one day. And it's not going to be this loser who has shown you time and time again that he doesn't freaking want you. Okay? The scarcity mindset keeps us so stuck on the same person over and over and over. We romanticize the bare minimum for what reason? Why are you romanticizing the freaking bare minimum? Below the bare minimum. The attachment has got to go, okay? You're attached to a loser. Why are you attached to a loser? Let me know. Love isn't limited and good men exist, okay? I promise. Love just doesn't expire. Everyone has love within them. It's a matter of finding the right person. If he will not give you 100%, someone else will.
Well, I don't see how you can romanticize the bare minimum when all you guys do is endlessly complain about it. You tried to set up this bizarro world where women just jump and do backflips after Chad sends you a 3-word text to see if you're up for some fun time with your goopy doom chamber of relentless agony. But all we're hearing is how you need more and more while also giving less and less. Now, if a dude actually cares about you, sure, he's gonna go above and beyond to make you feel safe and happy. But that kind of gets lost in translation when you're too busy saying that everything he's doing isn't enough to satisfy you and your endless laundry list of whims. That guy could very much be the love of your life, whatever the hell that is, and you'll still not appreciate him because of the one time he took an extra 2 hours to text you back because he was busy working. Now, I will agree with you, good men do exist. They're the ones that you blame every single time you end up going after the wrong guy. The good men walked away once they realized giving 110% isn't worth the time when you're giving less than 7% after we adjust for inflation. So that leaves you with those dreaded losers and simps that you endlessly complain about. Now, love might not expire, but you most certainly do, sweet cheeks. And you're pretty much a gallon of whole milk that's turned into cottage cheese.
Ew, what a mess. Ew, ew, ew.
Let me tell you a little secret. The hottest girl in the room isn't always the one that every single guy is chasing. It's the one that he can't quite figure out. So I'm gonna give you a few tips that you can use right away. Tip number 1, mystery equals mental real estate. Oversharing, girl, save that for your therapist, okay? Men do not chase what they already solved. If you really want to seduce him, be the question that man cannot answer. You're gonna keep your story under lock and key. Because if he doesn't know everything there is to know about you yet, he's gonna stay up at night wondering. And while he's doing that, you're living in his head rent-free. Tip number 2, your attention is the reward. Never, ever, I mean never, be fully available. You are not a clearance rack item, you are a limited edition drop. Let him earn your attention. You need to show up like you are complete sunshine, and then you go. The push-pull rhythm, men do not fall in love with women who are always there. They fall in love with the ones who make them chase. and they love it. Every second of it.
And that's an interesting thing about mathematics is when you're 50% right, you're 100% wrong.
You know, I'm gonna give you a tiny nugget of credit there, sweetheart, which is far more than you deserve. Yeah, it's not a smart idea to trauma dump on any dude that shows the minimum amount of interest in you, but if you're at the point where you feel that way, then there's already no hope for you. And everything else you said, yeah, that's just bull hockey. Self-respecting men don't want women who are going to keep them up at night while she endlessly breadcrumbs in with the minimum amount of attention. And if that's a reward, then it's not even one worth considering. Men just want a woman who's going to be legitimately interested in him, not play mind games just to lead him on and force him to chase you. Chasing might be fun in the very, very beginning with some playful flirting and banter, but that gets old extremely fast. And that's because chasing is exhausting. You should know. You chased after Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Marco, Gavin, Nigel, Wyatt, Pookie, Ray, Theodore, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and sloppy second Solomon. You put all that energy into getting into the bed of these guys thinking it was going to be enough to keep them around. But while you're still trying to figure out how to play Candyland, this dude is already the Grand Master of Mac Daddy Chest. So trust me when I say this, sister, you're out of your element on this one.
Tip number 3 is ego seduction. Now here's the play. You do not dominate the conversation, you direct it. And there is a huge difference. What you're going to do is ask questions, tilt your head, okay, smile like you're really into something, make him feel like he's the most interesting man in the world. There's a reason why that Dos Equis commercial was very popular. Men want to feel like the most interesting man in the world because when you feed his ego, he bonds to you. He connects that high to you. Now you're not just a girl, you are the source for his dopamine hit. And this final tip is if you want to go full femme fatale, lethal, you're going to lock your right eye into his left eye. That gaze goes straight to the part of the brain that bonds emotionally. And if you do that, that guy's cooked. He is roasted. So remember, seduction isn't about being the hottest girl in the room. It's about being the most haunted.
Lady, you're scaring us.
Oh, lady, you do realize that being haunting is a bad thing, right? I mean, men don't want to worry about whether or not the girl they talk to is going to sneak into his room and try to steal his kidneys with a blunt axe and 3 pints of 5 o'clock vodka. The femme fatale thing isn't something that revs most of our engines because we've actually seen movies, and the femme fatale will emotionally manipulate you, convince you to commit some kind of a felony, and then at the last minute, you'll pull out the rug from under him and either send him to prison for 20 years or in a pint box, whichever one comes first. Men just want a woman who's going to be friendly and genuinely interested in him, but you can't do that because you think the key to a man's heart is to feign interest and to get him obsessed with you. And that doesn't really work because it shows how little respect you have for the guy. It's all about having someone to give you attention, and the second you get it, you're just gonna get bored with them, and then you'll go online and complain about how there's no good men left. Besides, you do not have what it takes to be a femme fatale, sweetheart. Unlike you, femme fatales are actually kind of hot. Well, just look at you. You've got far too much dust underneath your face paint for that to be a reality. Shout out to the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for their support of the channel. I can't thank you guys enough as we pilot our good ship through the insanely crazy universe known as modern reality. And for that, I salute you. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where I have almost 100 videos of exclusive content that you're not going to find on YouTube. The link's in the pinned comment down below if you want to check it out. And that's going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.